Shalom. All praises to the Most High YAHUAH Elohim. This is your boy, your friend, your brother, Frenchie, the West African YAHUAH. So today's topic, lesson investigation, is going to be about the design and the designer. So the Bible itself answers the most profound questions that we have as humans. Who made us, what we're here for, and what is going to be after death. And human nature always wants to question things to the very point that now we even question the existence of a creator. And I'd like to say that if you look around you, you look at nature and everything around you that revolves around you, it looks like it has been designed, even us humans. And everything that has a design must have a designer behind it. So let's seek the truth of the Most High and the evidences on the ground to see if there are traces of the designer behind the design.
Rob Carter is a marine biologist, so he took me scuba diving to get a glimpse of a world most people don't see. His specialty was coral, and he knew a lot about the incredible creatures that inhabit the reefs around St. Thomas.
Oh man, we got the sharks here. I mean, just look how they move, and it's almost like effortlessly glide along. I wish I could swim like that.
Engineers wish we could make boats like that.
Yeah.
Submarines that can move as efficiently as a shark. We can't quite do it.
So, from your perspective as a marine biologist, and I know that you've studied the whole area of genetics a lot.
Yes.
When people talk about evolution, what is it?
How do you define evolution? The word means change over time. But I believe in change over time. But I'm not an evolutionist, so how does one figure this out? Really, evolution is a belief that enough change over time, over enough time, can lead to the common ancestry of all species on Earth.
All right.
So that's the part I reject. Of course species change. I mean, look at these sharks here. We have several different species of sharks. When God created, He put into those organisms the ability to change, to adapt, to respond dynamically to the environment. But they're still sharks. And when we look at the fossil record, they're still sharks. You know, people have heard the phrase the missing link. And they usually think of between man and monkeys. No, there's missing links between almost every major group of animal and almost every other major group of animal and plant, even bacteria, throughout the entire fossil record, which indicates very strongly that these are actually different creations.
So we don't get one kind becoming another kind.
No. Evolutionary theory requires that small, random changes can explain everything we see. But it can't.
And why can't it?
Because life is so complex that small changes can't explain it. Just like you can't take a computer operating system and look at it and say, oh yeah, this is built up one digit at a time over any length of time. No, it took an intelligent person to sit down and put it together.
Well, I can guarantee you, as one who was in that world, that if anyone in the area of computer science were to say, if we just randomly change some things in this operating system, it'll get better. I mean, no one would agree with that.
No, we're not going to get the shark to evolve into a bird. The number of changes and the types of changes are not something that you can do one change at a time. This is a sea urchin.
It looks spiny.
It's pointy. You got to be careful.
Am I going to get stuck if I touch it?
No. He's pointy, but...
Oh my goodness, they're moving.
Yes, they're moving. And in between the spines are little tube feet, especially on the bottom. Oh, look at that movement. So he walks with his spines, but he's little tube feet in here, and that's what he uses to grab onto things. But looking carefully, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are actually 10 radial parts to this animal. Actually, the starfish is his cousin.
Are you serious? You can't be serious.
Absolutely. The starfish here is also an echinoderm, but notice he has 5-fold symmetry instead of 10.
Yeah.
This starfish does. On the bottom, look. We see the spines, we see the tube feet. His mouth is in the center there.
So there is some similarity here, even though externally it looks a lot different.
A lot different. Actually, you want to see something that looks a lot different?
Sure.
Which is a cousin to the starfish and the sea urchin.
All right. It almost looks like a rock.
Yes. I gotta be careful. He's squirting on me. This is a sea cucumber.
Oh, big.
He has spines. He has 2 feet.
Oh my goodness.
You would never know it until you studied really hard that this also is an echinoderm. He's not very happy being out of the water, so let me put him back in.
Yeah, so these are all related, even though they look very, very different.
Related in their creation. Not in an evolutionary sense, but our Creator took this phylum of life, the echinoderms, and created this and this and this on a similar pattern. And that's what we see across the entire realm of life, similarities and differences.
So what makes them different?
Well, genetically, they share most of their genes in common. But there are developmental genes, they're called Hox genes, that set up these patterns in the animal as it develops. They develop from a single cell. In one of them, they set up a 5-fold symmetry. Another, they set up a 10-fold symmetry. Another one, they make this long, skinny animal. They control the development of the embryo in these amazing ways.
So what you're saying, when we look at this from a molecular or genetic perspective, what we're finding is really a fascinating design in all of this.
Absolutely.
But what we've heard in the conventional paradigm, the conventional story tells us that it's those random changes that has brought about all of this.
Sure. Back in the 1800s, when life was simple, when they didn't know what was happening inside the cell, they didn't know how complex genetics was, you could imagine all sorts of things. But now that we know what actually happens behind the scenes, the story gets a lot more complicated. You see, I like to say the genome is 4-dimensional. Well, we have a 1-dimensional string called DNA. And if you want to draw that out, you'd have to write all the letters of DNA out on all 3 billion of them. And then you have to draw lines or arrows from one part to another part, because this part turns this part off, this part interferes with this part enhances this. It's this huge 2-dimensional interaction network. That's where you have a 2-dimensional genome.
I mean, let me stop here for a second, because this is really amazing to think about this, because I think in terms of a computer program that it's fairly static. I mean, the instructions are there, but you're talking about a program that is reprogramming itself. It's modifying its own instructions.
Oh, wait till I get to the 4th dimension.
Oh, okay.
Because of the 3rd dimension first. The information in that 1st dimension, that linear string, has to be organized in such a way that when it falls into the 3rd dimension, it still works.
Oh, that's amazing.
Genes that are used together are next to each other in 3D space.
Are you saying that once this thing gets folded up, it's almost like we have a new set of instructions?
Yes, a new level of information.
Unbelievable.
That whoever programmed that 1st level needed to understand what was going to happen, have it work in the 3rd level.
But you said there's another dimension even.
Oh yeah, the 4th dimension is time.
And how does that work?
The genome changes shape over time. Maybe you eat something that's bad for you, and your liver says, I can get rid of that toxin. Now, the chromosomes in the liver will change shape, expose that new protein gene, make copies of it, build a brand new protein that can kill off that toxin, and when it's not needed anymore, they'll change shape again and fold back.
Oh my goodness.
Dynamic programming. All 3 levels change in the 4th level, time.
Rob, that's so far beyond anything that we know, even in our most complex software systems, that it's almost beyond imagination to think that someone would look at that and say it all happened by chance.
Yes, and it only brings glory to God.
It does.
You can't build something like that up one thing at a time. You need it to function. In all this interlocking 4-dimensional complexity, it's not something you can do one letter at a time with natural selection.
It all has to be there.
Yeah, in the same way when we talk about the environment out here on the coral reef, if you don't have all these interlocking pieces of that puzzle, you don't have that ecology. The system will come crashing down if you just remove a couple of very important factors that are there. They have to be together or it doesn't happen.
So not only did we have this interdependency, this mutualism, so to speak, down at the genetic level, now we even make it more complex by saying there is that same mutualism at the higher level as well.
Yes. In fact, the entire world has a mutualism.
It's impossible to think that all of this could have happened just by a series of slow processes over billions of years.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
It's clear that the world we live in is incredibly interdependent, from the smallest biological system to the largest ecosystem. There are complex mutual relationships everywhere. I realize that creation in 6 days makes the most sense from an engineering perspective. You need everything working together at the same time for everything to function properly. And that's exactly how Genesis says God created it. Rob also said God created animals with the ability to change and adapt to their environments. Is it possible this ability to change has been mistaken for...
All right, so let's see if the Bible makes sense with everything we've seen so far. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 5. For by the greatness and the beauty of the creatures, proportionally, the maker of them is seen. So that's what we've seen so far. Yeah, remember they were talking about the designer, the design, and we just seen a bunch of images from nature, and you see the trees, the mountains, the animals, different places on earth. It looks designed, and it has been designed for us to see the glory of the Most High when we see these beautiful things that surround us. Let's keep it moving. Wisdom of Solomon chapter 13 verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature who are ignorant of Elohim and could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is, neither by considering the work did they acknowledge the workmaster. So the Most High left you traces of his work, yeah, for you to understand that he is the Most High. And that's the whole purpose of this video. I'm trying to make you understand. This video is about the design and the designer, yeah. By watching the work, yeah, of the worker, you recognize that he's a worker. He just makes sense. You understand? So let's keep it moving again. Romans chapter 1 verse 20. This is a precept to what we just read. For the invisible things of him from the creation of the world are clearly seen, being understood by the things that are made, even his eternal power and God's head, so that they are without excuse. So once again, by the creation, you will see the work of the Creator. And just look at yourself, like your eyes and your hands. Just think about these things. What I'm trying to make y'all understand is that you don't need to go too far, to find proof of the existence of the Builder or the Most High, whatever you want to call him, YAHUAH. Yeah. You don't need to look so far. Just look at yourself in the mirror and you'll see. Yeah. Let's read Enoch chapter 101 verse 6 through 9. Because the word of the Most High explains itself most of the time and people don't really pay attention to it. We tend to think as the Bible as a religious book. And it's deeper than that. It's beyond religion. Yeah. It's beyond Christianity. If you think that Christianity got something to do with the Bible, you got it all wrong. So once again, let's read Enoch, yeah, chapter 100, verse 6 through 9. Is it not the whole sea, all its waters, and all its commotion, the work of him, the Most High? Of him who has sealed up all its exertions and girded it on every side with the sand. So Enoch is explaining you the way the Most High made earth, basically. Let's keep it moving. Verse 7. It is not at his rebuked, dried up, and alarmed, while all its fish with everything contained in it die? And will not you, ye sinners, who are on earth, fear him? Is not he that the maker of heaven and earth, and of all things which are in them? Once again, the design and the designer, even them, they understood very well, very well, that when you look up the design, you can see trace of the designer. Verse 8, and who has given erudition and wisdom to all that move progressive upon the earth and over the sea. Verse 9, that's the most important. Check this out. Are not the commanders of the ship terrified at the ocean? And shall not sinners be terrified at the Most High? So nowadays, because we've been spoon-fed with lies and nonsense that makes us doubt in the existence of the Most High, this is what we think differently. But just as I said, look around and things that are very common. Yeah, verse 9 is very common. Ask anybody that have worked on ships and stuff. You can ask them when the sea is not happy. They are afraid and fearing for their lives. Yeah. So we should be doing the same with the Most High, because the Most High is in control of all these things. Yeah. Psalms chapter 14 verse 1. Yeah. For all you people that still do not understand that the Most High exists or do not believe in the Most High, you're missing out on something, and it's very dangerous. Yeah. Let's read. To the chief musician, a psalm of David. The fool hath said in his heart, there is no Elohim, there is no God. They are corrupt. They have done abominable works. There is none that doeth good. So, when you don't believe in the Most High, the scriptures calls you a fool. Yeah, and not a fool in a sense that you're stupid or whatever, but a fool in a sense that you're ignorant, you don't know. Yeah, and you're denying yourself. Because you people that don't believe in God, yeah, you know, and within your heart and within your own thoughts, sometimes you think and you acknowledge that maybe if it could be a creator, what would you do? You know this thing. Psalm chapter 14 verse 2 now. YAHUAH looketh down from heaven upon the children of men to see if there were any that did understand and seek Elohim. Yeah. Verse 3. They are all gone aside. They are all together become filthy. There is none that doeth good. Not one. So, once again, as I was saying, we've been spoon-fed with lies. We believed in lies, and now we have changed our thoughts. Yeah, and there's no longer room for the belief of the Most High nowadays. Yeah, we want to do whatever we want. We want to live our lives to the fullest, whatever. Yeah, and we forget to seek the Most High and to thank Him for all the beauty that He placed upon our eyes, and even for the very life that He gave us. Yeah. So once again, if you do not believe in the Most High, you are ignorant. And even if you doubt in the existence of the Most High, you are ignorant. You're supposed to be 100 with the Most High. Yeah, it's not 50-50 or whatever. Yeah. So Psalm 53 verse 1, and this is a precept what we just read. Remember, when you want to teach the Bible, precept upon precept, line upon line, here a little, there a little. Let's keep it moving. Let's read. To the chief magicians upon Mahalatha, Machil, a psalm of David. The fool has said in his heart, there is no Elohim. Corrupt are they, and have done abominable iniquity. There is none that doeth good. Once again, yeah, this thing is so important that they repeat it twice, yeah, in the same psalms, yeah, that they needed to make you understand. If you deny the existence of the Most High, you are a fool. You're denying your own self. Yeah, wisdom Solomon chapter 2 verse 1. For the ungodly said, reasoning with themselves, but not aright. Our life is short and tedious, and in the death of a man there is no remedy. Yeah, because this is exactly how people that do not believe in God think. Yeah, and remember, we're talking about the ungodly. Yeah, let's keep it moving. neither was there any man known to have returned from the grave. Yeah, verse 2. For we are born at all adventure, and we shall be hereafter as though we have never been. For the breath in our nostrils is as smoke, and a little spark in the moving of our heart. Verse 3. Which being extinguished, our body shall be turned into ashes, and our spirit shall vanish in the soft air. This is what the ungodly think. Remember, yeah? And this is how a lot of us think nowadays. But we should place our hope in the Most High and in the resurrection, the return of Hamashiach, the one you call Christ. Yeah? Let's see what David has to say about it in the Old Testament. Psalm chapter 16, verse 10. For thou wilt not leave my soul in hell, neither wilt thou suffer thine Holy One to see corruption. For those who don't know, when he's talking about hell, he's talking about Sheol. The definition of hell that we got today is way different than the people of the Bible had. Yeah? Because the real word for it is Sheol. And Sheol is the underworld, place to which people descend after death. It is not stating bad people, but it says people. And I have a whole lesson on that. If you scroll down in my YouTube page, you'll see it. It's called Heaven and Hell, something like that. Yeah. So, as I was saying, we should place our hope in the resurrection and in the Most High. And even David believed in the resurrection. That's why he said, do not let my soul in Sheol or in hell. Yeah. So let's keep moving. Acts chapter 23, verse 6. But when Paul perceived that the one part were Sadducees and the other part Pharisees, he cried out in the council, Men and brethren, I am a Pharisee, the son of a Pharisee. Of the hope and resurrection of the dead I am called in question. So once again, we should be placing our hope in the resurrection. Yeah, remember David said that the Most High will not leave him in Sheol. Yeah, or in hell, if you want. Yeah, because resurrection, when Mashiach comes back, it is time for the dead that dead in Mashiach and everybody to be resurrected to either damnation or to eternal life. But that's another topic for another day. Yeah. Wisdom Solomon chapter 13 verse 10. But miserable are they. Yeah. Because you should make the distinction between believing in the Most High, not believing in anything, and believing in false God as well. Yeah. So let's keep it moving. But miserable are they. And in dead things is their hope. Remember I said we should be placing our hope in the Most High and the resurrection, which is basically the return of Christ or Hamashiach. Yeah. And call them gods, which are the work of man's hand, gold and silver, to shew heart in, and resemblance of beasts, or a stone, good for nothing, the work of an ancient hand. So once again, you need to be careful to make sure that you don't believe in false God. And a lot of people are duped today and believe in false God. And I'm telling you, idols, yeah. Wisdom in Psalm chapter 13 verse 17. Then maketh he a prayer for his goods, for his wife and children, and is not ashamed to speak to which have no life. I don't know if you understand that, but nowadays, a lot of people, yeah, they believe in these false gods, and they walk around with these false amulet and all kind of nonsense, yeah, that they believe that's going to give them chance or good luck or good life and stuff like that. Yeah, we should be careful of that. Yeah, Wisdom in Psalm 13 verse 18. For health he calleth upon that which is weak. For life he prayeth that to that which is dead. For aid humbly beseecheth that which has least mean to help, and for a good journey he asketh of that which cannot set a foot forward. Do you understand that? Yeah. Some of you people pray to Buddha. Some of you people pray to the Kaaba, you Muslims. Some of you Christians, you pray to the cross. These things cannot move, cannot do anything for you. You have made your own God. The Most High Elohim is spirit. You cannot make a spirit. Do you understand that? And that's the difference between the Bible and all these so-called religions, these nonsense of religions that people need to come out of it. Yeah? Verse 19, and for gain, and getting, and for good success of his hands, asketh ability to do of him that is most unable to do anything. Do you not getting sense out of what they're saying right now? Yeah, and that's the reason why these books have been taken out of the Bible. Because if you look up the KJV 1611, these books like Wisdom and Ecclesiasticus and all these kind of books, yeah, they were in the Apocrypha, and the Apocrypha was part of the Bible. King James 1611 version, they were in there, yeah, but they took them out. Why? Because these things exposes their nonsense, the cross and all that crap. If you come across these kind of verse, you're gonna ask yourself questions on behalf of the cross and all these kind of things. Yeah. So once again, they're explaining you all the sins, because it's a sin to pray to graven images and to even make them, to bow down to them, to pray to these things. As I stated before, people pray to Buddha. People pray to the Cabal, whatever you call it, Muhammad or Allah, I don't know. Yeah? Or these white fake Jesus. Because once the one you call Jesus was not white. 2, it was black. 2, we are not told to make any sort of thing as cross in the Bible. So once again, people need to take them out of religion first. And secondly, the scriptures are literally telling you to not worship these things. They cannot move. They cannot do anything good nor evil. Yeah? They are not the Most High. Isaiah chapter 45 verse 20. Assemble yourselves and come, draw near together, ye that are escaped of the nations. So he's basically saying to come to him. Yeah, the people that have escaped sin, basically. Yeah, let's keep it moving. They have no knowledge that set up the wood of their graven image. Yeah, and pray unto God that cannot save. So that's what I was talking about. These things cannot save you. These fake gods that do not move, that do not talk, that don't do anything, good nor evil. The only evil is you worshiping them. Yeah? They can't do nothing for you. Yeah? Wisdom in Solomon chapter 15 verse 3. For to know thee is perfect righteousness. Yeah, to know thy power is the root of immortality. Yeah? Once again, we shall put our hope in the resurrection, and to know the power of the Most High is righteousness. To know the laws of the Most High, these laws that the Christian church telling you that I don't live, it is immortality. Yeah? And to understand who is the Most High through the scriptures, it is the most righteous thing to do. Deuteronomy chapter 30 verse 39. See now that I, even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So once again, we need to acknowledge the power of the Most High. Yeah, winning these wisdom, read the law, read your scriptures, because a lot of us, we do not know these things. Yeah. Once again, I'm trying to make you understand the design and the designer. Yeah. So to understand the design, you gotta also understand the designer that made them. You understand? And to understand our Creator, yeah, all these attributes are written in the Bible. Yeah. Once again, I'm saying to you that is beyond religion. Beyond religion. And that's the whole purpose of this video. I'm trying to make y'all understand that the Most High exists. But we gotta seek His knowledge. Not religion, not the pastor, but we gotta seek His knowledge, His wisdom, and His understanding that He had placed in the Scriptures. Yeah? Ecclesiastes chapter 33, verse 13. As the clay is in the potter's hand to fashion it at his pleasure, so man is in the hand of him that made him to render to them as like him best. Yes, this is the ugly truth. The Most High does anything He wants with us. This is why things happens in our life. We lose to good people. We lose bad people. Bad things happen to good people. Good things happen to bad people. Life, death, all these things. This is the work of the Most High. And this is the way He had designed our world. Remember, the design and the designer. Yeah, Ecclesiastes 30 verse 14. Good is set against evil, and life against death. So it is the godly against the sinner, and the sinner against the godly. So once again, you need to understand the work of the Most High. Everything is set against everything. Yeah. What I'm doing is the good work against evil. Yeah. And when people say there is no God, the Big Bang Theory and all that crap, or the earth is round and all that, yeah, this is evil. Yeah, straightforward. I'm straight with you. This is evil. And that's what y'all got to understand. We're trying to do the good work right here. Yeah. So the godly against the ungodly. Yeah. So let's keep it moving. Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 16. All the works of YAHUAH are exceeding good, and whatever He commandeth shall be accomplished in due season. Keep that on mind. But what I'm saying to you right now, and what I'm reading, is to make you understand that everything that the Most High have created has been set up in a certain pattern. Remember what we just seen in the documentary that I played before. Yeah? Everything is in pattern if you have followed so far. Everything is in patterns. Yeah? And it's a clever pattern, a clever design that the Most High made. Yeah? We have the seasons, times after time, the days, the nights, everything that revolves around us and things that we do not have control of, yeah, it is set in pattern. So you gotta recognize that there is a designer behind it. It cannot be random. Yeah? Let's keep it moving. Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 17 now. And none may say, what is this? Wherefore is that? For at time convenient they shall all be sought out. At His commandments the water stood as an heap, and at the words of His mouth the receptacles of the waters. So I will keep your attention on, and none may say, what is this? Wherefore is that? So once again, the design. If you understand the design, you will understand the designer. And either way, if you understand the designer, you're going to understand the design. How do you seek the designer, within His words, His true words, which is the Scriptures. You got to bang yourself in it. Yeah? Yeah? Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1 to Ecclesiastes chapter 3 verse 1. Yeah? And we're going to close with that. And we might read verse 1 through 11. Yeah? So Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 1 through 11. To everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. So remember, yeah, what we read. And none may say, what is this? Wherefore is that? Yeah? because you understand now. You now understand the pattern. So you now understand the one that have designed, all these things. So once again, to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under the heaven. Yeah, and that reminds me of this one as well. Yeah, whatsoever he commandeth shall be accomplished in due season. Yeah, so that reminds me of that, which was Ecclesiastes chapter 39, verse 16. So let's go back, and let's read verse 2. A time to be born and a time to die, a time to plant and a time to pluck up that which is planned. Verse 3, a time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. I don't know why people missing on this beautiful word that we have in the scriptures. The Most High gave us his wisdom written on paper that we can all have access to, especially you so-called Negroes. Forgetting that you're the true children of Israel. Let's keep it moving. Verse 4, a time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. Verse 5, a time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together, and a time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. Verse 6, a time to get and a time to lose, a time to keep and a time to cast away. Verse 7, a time to reign and a time to sue, a time to keep silent and a time to speak. Verse 8, a time to love and a time to hate, a time to war and a time of peace. Verse 9, what profit hath he that worketh in that wherein he laboureth? 10, I have seen the travail which Elohim hath given to the sons of men to be exercised in it. Verse 11, he that hath made everything beautiful in his time, not in 2 billions of years, also he hath set the world in their hearts, so that no man can find out the work that Elohim maketh from the beginning to the end. So remember the design. When you see through the design, you can find the designer. So I hope this lesson has been a blessing for you, that I have give you understanding. And if you maybe did not believe in the Most High or did not believe strongly in the Most High, I hope after hearing these words of wisdoms and truth, you will believe in the Most High. So shalom to everyone.